Why, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. My name is Mr. Dogboat333, and welcome back to Hearts of Iron 4, 1000 Week Reich. I think last time we hopped in with 1000 Week Reich was, we started as Muscovian, but then we eventually broke free as the ROA. We ended up restoring the Russian Empire a little bit. We got Vladimir in charge, and through a bunch of console command fuckery and just doing our best not to immediately die, we ended up doing pretty okay. And in fact, we ended up taking out Germany and putting ourselves in a pretty decent position. But we played Russia plenty of times on the channel. Plus, I'm currently offline recording another series in Russia. So I think I just kind of want to take a step back and play a nation that is in a region that is less chaotic, less unstable, more stability, less tension between all the ethnic groups. That's why today we're going. Just select these guys so I can go to that. That's why today we're going to the Balkans. So we're hopping in as Croatia. Now I've played in this area relatively close before. I don't know if you consider Hungary as part of the Balkans, but it's right next door. And we played Hungary, I think it was our first 1000 Week Reich campaign, and that was actually pretty fun. And so I figured we'll go ahead and do the same treatment with the old Croats over here. Hungary is European Mongolia. I mean, pretty much, yeah. Kev, welcome to see you, my friend. Glad you hopped in. Missed you a little bit a few days ago, but that's okay. I'm sure you were doing stuff. So let's go ahead and start. I think Croatia got some content in the Balkans update a while ago, but it also just got a new update, Christmas actually. Got integrated with a submod cleverly named the Croatia submod. So it was a submod before, but now it's officially in the game. I haven't been in 1000 Week Reich in a hot minute, so I figured it's about time to hop back in and have some fun with that. We were talking about how cold it was in the interim. I'm in California. We've had a lot of snow up here, at least where I'm at in California. And apparently a bunch of, at least a good chunk of my European viewers have had relatively little snow, so I thought that was kind of funny. For the people of Croatia, there is no longer such a thing as day. The sun no longer shines its bright rays, nor do the Croatians breathe freely. Though the time continues and life goes on, it is not the same as it is elsewhere in the world. In Croatia, it is as if a terrible curse, endless night, has been cast down onto these lands, forever cursing its people into an eternity of damnation. Under the nearly decade-long rule of Mustache, there has been irrevocable change. Though there have been long ethnic conflicts between the Croats and the Serbs, the Mustache have committed crimes of unspeakable scale. Many fled eastwards for Serbia or northward to Hungary. Countless more are not so fortunate to escape. The Jewish people as well have faced brutal crimes against them, their blood being the rain of the Croatian springtime, their ashes the snow of a Croatian winter. The partisans have been almost forced out of Croatia, mainly setting up their base of operations in the region of Kvarner. Others have retreated to Serbia and the mountains of eastern Bosnia. The Chetniks are holding up in the city of Visegrad, isolated with little in terms of food or supply. There is nothing in Croatia, save for Ante Pavlik's Ustaja. The sun no longer shines upon Croatia. There is nothing but the dark night, never to see. I heard the beasts say, come and see, and I beheld. Going to sleep now, had fun. Duncan, my friend, thanks for joining us. We haven't had snow where I live in maybe like 3 years. Oh shit, no kidding. Well, God, we have some stuff. Oh wow. Interesting. I think that ties into the paths. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we got. We're led by Ante Pavlik. Obligatory apology. I do not speak Croatian or any of those Slavic languages. I barely speak English sometimes, honestly, so I'm probably going to butcher a lot of these pronunciations. I'm sorry. I'm trying my best here, but bear with me. Every nation has its national hero. For the Americans, it's Washington. For the Germans, Hitler. I guess if we want to, whatever. But many agree that there are a few national heroes less deserving of such a title than Ante Pavlik, Pavlovnik of Croatia. Along with national hero, he's found himself with many more, less flattering titles. Among them, terrorist, murderer, war criminal, and butcher. And unlike hero, each of these is true. Pavlik has led a regime of unmatched brutality, save perhaps Germany's Eastern European territories. Mustache has engaged in a horrific campaign of cleansing and expelling Serbs, Jews, and Romani from Croatia, the brutality of which Heinrich Himmler allegedly called ridiculous. With the tendrils of Mustache going from Zagreb to Dubrovnik, it seems there will be no end to Croatia's woes. Everyday opponents of the regime, Jews and Serbs, are executed with methods often primitive and brutal. Pavlik's rule seems endless, with the partisans being hunted to the nation's borderlands and cross the border. As Pavlik turns Croatia to feast upon her neighbors, the world wonders how long his shop of horrors can last. The X at the end, South Slavic names, is pronounced like the Russian ik. I don't know how to pronounce that really either. 5 totally wonderful, kind of merciful men, totally not the worst human beings imaginable. Truly. So in the interest of not being demonetized for the rest of the series, I'm hoping to at least step away from the more gamery guys, personally. But while we're in the early stage, let's check out the Mustache Movement, also sometimes referred to as Ustaša, the ideology of the URHO, the Croatian Revolutionary Organization, or Ustaša. The ideology of the movement is a blend of fascism, Roman Catholicism, and extreme Croatian nationalism. Mustache support the creation of a greater Croatia that would span the Drina River and extend the borders of Belgrade. The movement views Croats as not Slavs, but of Gothic origin, only tainted with a Slavic language. It also emphasizes the need for a radically pure Croatia and promotes ethnic cleansing of other minorities, but views the Bosniaks as Muslim Croats, and as a result, Bosniaks are not persecuted on the basis of race. So that's at least something not completely horrific, just slightly horrific. The ideology uses the system of a planned ideology, the so-called Croatian socialism, as an attempt to create a non-Marxist socialist system. That moment when Himmler calls you idiot and butcher. Vladimirovic? I think something like that. Pavlik. We'll go with that. Shows who believes we're unironic IRL Burgundian system. Jesus, fuck. Yeah. This is not nice, needless to say. But we have some various focuses going on here. We have German funding for suppression, which actually gives us some okay bonuses, but if a German Reich falls or enters a civil war, the national spirit will be removed. Well, yeah. The German Reich has been funding us to suppress any resistance movement since the 1946, when the partisans and Chetniks became popular and organized. With their help, we can eradicate the traitors and secure our national security and stability. Dreams of greater Croatia. What drives our population to success is the dream of one day retaking our coast and fully reunifying with our fellow Croat brothers. As Croatia was the first unified by King Tomislav, we shall unify our nation once again, so that every Croat can be safe in the homeland, in the embrace of his homeland. We also have Italian influence on politics. Not very nice. Since the Mediterranean Pact was signed, Italy has tried many times to assassinate important government officials, infiltrate with spies, get their puppets on the Senate or the Council, and intervening in our politics. We need to get rid of them somehow. You have a demarcation line. Before the proclamation of the independent state of Croatia, a line was established for our country in which the extent of German-Italian influence was decided, named the demarcation line. We must do everything necessary in order to get rid of the stain of on our independence once and for all. We have an economic depression, which is not nice at all. Collapse of the Italian markets and the economic stagnation in the Reich have left Croatia without its two largest trade partners. This, in combination with our costly purification campaign of non-Croatians, has left our economy in total shambles. It's almost like committing mass murder in horrific fashion is not good for the economy. Makes you wonder. Just an idea. Significant reform of the economic system is required for Croatia to once again be a jewel of the Adriatic. Next, we have a divided home guard, which means we're stuck with the army we have. The Croatian home guard is meant to defend our independent state from internal and external threats alike, but its loyalty to regimes remains tenuous at best. We suspect that everyone, from the top brass down to the common society, to be in cahoots with anti-government forces such as the communist partisans and the liberal HSS. Unless we can secure the army's trust, this could seriously dampen any future endeavors that Poglavnik may have for the future. So, what it's saying is, we should not secure the army's trust. And then we have the legacy of a Treaty of Rome, which just kind of screws us navally. When our country was established, the cowardly Italians imposed various treaties, colloquially known as the Treaty of Rome, on us that would limit, and in some cases outright forbid, expansion and the right to have a navy. These treaties have since been slightly modified to give us some light naval rearmament capabilities, but if we want to become a state rivaling Italy, we must abolish these treaties once and for all. So Mustache Man and step in to order German and Italian troops to not find Mustache troops because they were generally disgusted by them. Yeah. My knowledge of Croatia in World War II, which maybe is not as much as I'd like to know, but the general knowledge I have of them is that they were horrendous enough that they freaked out the Nazis, which is fucking bad. The Croats and the Japanese have that unique distinction, which says a lot, I think. So we're going to try to be slightly less horrific, hopefully. So let's take a look at our focus tree. Just taking a gander at all of this. I'm gonna avoid this part of the tree as long as I can. And we'll go ahead and start with this one. Ustaja se Volska Dija. I nailed that, obviously. Another year dawns on the independent state of Croatia, and despite its attempts of forming a perfect fascist state to stand tall in the European order, not all is well. Perfidious race continues to ravage our sacred countryside while our economy and armed forces lay in shambles. The Croatian government and its people must band together in order to excise this threat, once and for all. Why not, I guess. So we start off with 8 divisions. Not too bad, I guess. We'll go with Home Guard leader, the ground forces of the Croatian army. So, okay. If anything happens, it looks like I think we should try to stick with Home Guard, guys. Let's go with Ivan Markuli. Yeah. And we'll put our forces on the Hungarian border, because I know could potentially some stuff in Hungary will go down, so I want to prepare for that. We'll build some stuff in Slavonia and Zagreb. I don't have very much in the way of civilian factories, so I want to get building on those. But we did over 15,000 steps today. I feel good with myself. Good shit, Kev. Good shit. You love to see it. We'll get working on better rifles. And we don't really have much to do, so we'll get our research speed going up. Yeah, I swung by the gym earlier myself today, which I haven't been able to do too much because of work. So just being able to do anything feels good. So, I'm proud of you, laddie. I am. Let's get working on some convoys. Yeah. Moment would be better to beat Croatian populace be under Mussolini's empire than be under these maniacs. I don't think I can quite... Gonna have to remember to hop in. Let's see, we're missing Zara. I'm ready to play. I don't need to know anything new. Let's go ahead and up the speed. So I was struggling to figure out... I searched Vatino subreddit in order to figure it out. But it seems that luckily there's a guide on the paths, or a rough guide on the paths. And so, luckily, I'm going to take that and figure out what to do. Mr. Motherfuckers be like, oh, thank God. Yeah. Let's go ahead and end the demarcation line. For the proclamation of the IS of Croatia, a line was established for our country in which the extent of German and Italian influence was decided, named the demarcation line. We must end this insult to our independence once and for all. We need to do anything necessary to get rid of the stain on our independence once and for all. A little repetitive there, but that's okay. End of the demarcation line. Next, let's go ahead. Let's end the Italian zone. The perfidious Italians still hold influence on our country, assassinating politicians and meddling in our affairs. We must put a stop to this threat. Let's see, we have resistance to our regime, so let's check this out. Since the founding of our state in 1941, various insurgency groups have been fighting over hold of the territory. Although these groups are varied from their goals and their threats, there are three groups which pose the most danger to our state. Communist Yugoslav partisans, led by the underground communists of Croatia, the Bosnian Chetniks, led by the Chetnik general Bosko Todorovic, and the Bosnian Nationalist group, led by various Bosnian leaders. If we do not squash them as soon as we can, they will hinder our goals of a pure Croatia. Resistance is currently low, and it consists mainly of these guys right now. Department of Redundancy Department. Okay, we've ended the Italian zone. You guys don't need to do that, but okay. Okay, AI. Let's kick out the Italian garrison. The Italian garrison stationed in the Italian zones are an embarrassment as much as the Germans, if not bigger. It's time for them to go. So just check. Unimportant, they are highly slow, many of them. This home screen for the influence of Croatian Home Guard. The Croatian Home Guard are our main armed forces in our nation. Armed our forces in our nation, rather, I guess. Although important, they are highly disloyal, many of them having hidden sympathies in the communist partisans and the democratic opposition. If we want to preserve a rule over a nation, we must appease the Home Guard, also clamping down on their foreign influence and saboteurs among their ranks. So what I'm reading is that we don't want to do any of that. So I'm looking at the guide right now. We have to have influence at 50% and stability at 0. Influence at 60 and stability below 30, and then influence at 70 and stability below 50. Either of those combinations will work, it sounds like. We need the military influence mechanic enabled, it seems. And then we have this one. Government of the ISC. First officer is Poglavnik, the leader of the country itself. Next to him is the second in command. Below Poglavnik's second command is Poglavnik's inner circles. Each of the people in the inner circle has their own loyalty and influence in the country. Should the influence of a person grow too high and loyalty too low, they may attempt to overthrow the current Poglavnik or even Mustache regime. itself. Interesting. We got rid of that guy. We have the Andrea Artugnovic, nicknamed the Architect of Terror. Once given the role of introducing and enforcing the racial laws, which include deportations, conversions, massacres, and other despicable crimes against humanity, being Pavlik's deputy, he has the best chance of being the successor. Then we have Mladen Lordovic. Dubious man in Croatian politics, unassuming man, he wishes to reform Croatia into a fascist state following the Italo-fascist doctrine, and ending the various Nazi policies that Mustache currently has in place. While he has to keep his plans in secret, being the current head of government, Lordovic also is allied with Ante Volic, the Minister of Defense and leader of the Home Guard, the Croatian military, and August Kosodic, leader of the Croatian peasant army. When time was right, Lordovic may attempt to take over the place, appalling for himself, and steer the country in a direction he envisioned. Much that your fuck was, I kind of like the borders of the ISC. Yeah, the borders are kind of smooth, I'm not going to lie. And Montenegro and Slovenia. I don't know what we can do if we end up going democratic. But if we can snag those territories, that would be nice. Then we have this same guy up here. Never mind, I don't need to reread that. Then we have Jura Frantinic, the founder of the Black Legion militia, one of the most important influential members of the Mustache Movement. Frantinic's politics are confusing everyone except himself. While being a dedicated Mustache member, he also collaborates with groups Mustache ideology calls undesirable. He also sees this ineffective. Frantinic also sees the ineffectiveness of the current Mustache regime, seeing it as only making the resistance more popular. Although not the most prominent member in politics, Frantinic will do whatever is necessary to stop the resistance regime, using brutal and inhumane methods, if necessary. Yeah. See. I think we've read a good half of this. Let's see. Promotes genocide against the Serbs due to Mustache's belief grounded in anti-Serb sentiment, and Jews in Roma via Nazi racial theory, persecution of anti-fascists or dissident Croats and Bosniaks. They view them as Muslim Croats, and as a result, they're not persecuted on the basis of race. Let's see. When they came to power, quasi-protectorate puppet state established by Italy, Nazi Germany. Paramilitary wing became Mustache militia. However, Mustache lacked support among ordinary Croats and never accrued any significant support among the populace. Mustache regime was backed by parts of a Croat populace that, during the interwar period, had felt oppressed by Serb-led Yugoslavia. Most support it initially had gained by creating a Croat national state was lost because of the brutal practices it used, making the resistance movements mostly, but the partisans grow more support day by day. What a painfully low bar. Yeah. It's not a good place to be, Croatia, right now. Hopefully we can make it better. That's my hope. George is dead. Kicked out the Italian garrisons. Next, we'll have youth marchers on the border. We'll hold marches of Mustache youth on the border. The Italians will know not to mess with us, now and in the future. We talked about the camps they had? Yeah? Yeah, what are you going to tell me, Kev? I remember leveling up the first Wolfenstein remake game they had, where I think we were in a camp in Croatia. You got one part of that wrong. Norwegian thaw. Camp, but camps. Yeah, needless to say, this is not a fun place right now, but hopefully, we can make things a little better. So, I'm going to leave it here for now. So, all the people watching at home on YouTube, thank you for watching. If you like this video, leave a like. If not, feel free to dislike. If you have any comments, feedback, concerns, leave in the comment section below. Read the comments, I'd appreciate any feedback you might have for me. If you want to stay up to date, hit the sub button, even hit the notification bells. I have uploads going up weekdays, as well as occasionally Saturdays. I have various links down in the description box below. My Twitch, which this is being filmed on live, for example, well as Discord, Patreon, and the second channel. If you want to check out any of those, description box down below is a place to check out. That's it for now, my friends. Thank you as always for watching. My name has been Mr. DB333. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.